In this demo, we're going to cover the overview of a RepairTRAX ticket from the viewpoint of a technician. You can access tickets in a variety of ways. You can access tickets via the main menu as shown here, or you can use the icons in the upper right, such as the ticket list, ticket search, new ticket, or you can even find a ticket for a particular customer using the customer search. I'm going to start with just by using the ticket list icon in the upper right. Let's go. Now let's go over all the things that you can see within the ticket list. The first thing you'll see are one or more series of tickets. You have a choice of listing the tickets in a variety of ways through the admin center. Notice that we chose the last touched tickets are shown first. Then you have a status column that contains icons based upon what the ticket state is, such as an in-house ticket indicated by the house, or a ticket that's being worked on. There's a little dynamic gear spinning. Notice the gear on this one, although it's not animated in this demo. But the next column is the tech who's working on it and the ticket information, real brief ticket information. Tickets can be a new ticket. They can not have a type. They can be a warranty ticket. Notice here on this last one, it is a new ticket. The next is the customer information column, where you have the customer, their telephone number, and possibly an account number if it exists. The next column over is the item that's being worked on and the current status. Based upon the current status, the ticket colors change. You can control the ticket colors in the admin center. The next column are the dates that include the date the ticket was opened, the estimated completion date, and the closed date if the ticket has been closed. Finally, on the far right is where you can perform actions on the ticket, either using the icon shortcuts or the drop down, as we'll see in the future. Up above there is a filter that lets you sort and or modify the view based on what model's being worked on or what tech owns what tickets at any given time. You just use these drop downs and set your filters and click the go button, and the view will be updated. At the very top there is a multi-ticket action bar, such that you can select 3, 5, all tickets and perform an action all at once on all tickets, as we shall see. And then finally there's a little color legend that helps those who aren't familiar with the colors understand what perhaps a red ticket or a yellow ticket means. Let's go ahead and look at the color legend first. A pop-up appears showing the different ticket colors and what those colors mean. The admin center for administrators, you can go there and change ticket colors based upon your preference for any given state of a ticket. Pretty cool. Now I'll close this out. Now let's take a look at the multi-ticket action bar at the top. I'll use an example that Ricky Martin, one of my techs, is going to be on vacation, and I want to take some of his tickets that were assigned to him and assign them to a different tech. So here's a way I can do it all at once for a series of tickets. This is what I would do. First, I'll select the tickets that I want to modify. Then I'll use the multi-ticket action bar to perform this operation. From the drop-down, you'll notice I can do a lot of actions like delete a bunch of tickets, or close a bunch of tickets, or send an alert to a bunch of tickets, etc. But as the demo stated, I'm going to reassign these tickets to somebody else. This view is similar to the assignment view of the ticket, which we'll see later. Notice at the bottom it has a multiple ticket action warning that says one or more tickets will be updated, reminding you that you have a list of tickets that are being affected. Now let's set some changes. I'm going to change the tech assignment from Ricky Martin to Kathy Heiliger. There are a variety of ticket types you can have. You can have a standard job as shown. You can have a rush ticket, a quote, a quick sale that doesn't involve a repair, a special order that doesn't involve a repair, an RMA. But this ticket type is a standard job, and I'm not going to modify that, so I'm going to just move on down. Just as there are types of tickets, there's also types of jobs, so let's take a look at that. As you can see, you can have a new job, a full warranty, a parts warranty, split warranty, etc. This is just going to be a new job, so I'm just going to set it as new. RepairTRAX optionally allows you to track the referral source, such as, oh, I heard it from Google, I heard your ad on TV, etc., etc. So this list of referral sources is manageable by you, but I'm going to skip over that since it's optional. I am, however, going to set a completion date, as the completion date is required, so this is how I can do it. I can either pick a calendar date using the calendar icon, or I can just take XYZ days from today, which is way easier for me, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll pick 5 days out from today, and bingo, the date's pre-calculated for me. Pretty cool. If I wanted to at this time, I could enter a work log note that would be propagated across all tickets, but at this time I'm not going to do that. Now all that's left to do is click Submit to save. And there we go. The tickets that I selected have been updated. Notice that Kathy Heiliger is now assigned to these 3 tickets. Also notice that the estimated completion date is as set. Now I'm going to take a look at the modification options for a ticket. I can either use the icons that are displayed for each ticket, or I can use the drop-down. Let's first take a look at the drop-down. A lot of the drop-downs have icons on the ticket themselves to make shortcuts, so first I'm going to show you the correlation between the drop-down and the icons. If the customer for a particular record has their email address recorded in the database, then you'll also see the email ticket option for that particular customer. Also notice that you can attach documents, you can edit a customer, etc. There's a lot you can do on the drop-down. If you look down in the print section, you'll see certain names like release form, service label, signature. These are custom HTML files that were uploaded and named by me. RepairTRAX lets you upload an unlimited number of printouts. Within these printouts you can have database keywords, so like the first and last name, the service item, etc. can be used. This is how you can create custom service labels, custom release forms, etc. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at my service tag that I created by selecting it now. Notice that this will be for customer Sean Edstrom, who has a iPod in the hopper. Once clicked, a pop-up appears. Notice that the database keywords have been replaced by Sean Edstrom and his telephone number, and the ticket number, the item, and serial number. Perfect for a service label printout. Now if I were to print this file, I would make sure that the target printer was my little label printer versus, for example, my full-page receipt printer. I'm just going to close out this window now. Also, within the ticket list, you'll notice the little magnifying glass right next to the customer name. This allows you to zoom in on the customer. Let's take a look at what that looks like. This is the customer detail view. There are plenty of icons and actions that can be performed at this time, but I have left that to a completely different video as shown below, so I'm not going to go into those details. Right now I'm just going to jump back to the ticket list. Now let's go ahead and pull up a ticket so that we can start editing it. I'll just click on the handy dandy edit icon to start. Welcome to the RepairTRAX ticket. Up at the top there are 3 sections. The top left section is customer information, the middle section is the service item, and the far right is the ticket information boxes. If you look at the customer information, you notice that there's 3 icons next to Sean. The first one is customer notes. That appears if there are notes about this customer. The second icon lets you send an email, a text, or perhaps record a phone call for the customer. And the last icon appears if there is a full address for the customer that jumps you to Google Maps. Additional information includes the contact preference. Notice that they prefer phone, email, and text, mostly for demonstrational purposes. The email is listed, and you can also send them a test text message by clicking the test right next to their text message if they approve text messaging. Let's go back to the Google Maps icon and click that to see what that looks like. RepairTRAX pops up a new window with the appropriate location marked as shown. This is a great way to help your in-the-field techs manage their customers from site to site. Pretty cool. And I can even zoom in. Okay, so that's where Sean lives. Now I'm just going to close out this pop-up. Returning back to the customer icons, the first icon, the customer notes icon, appears if and only if there are notes for that customer. Let's take a look at that. RepairTRAX presents a quick pop-up with all the notes listed. Here there's only one. I'm going to close out this box. Again, jumping back to the customer icons, let's take a look at the text, email, and or phone icon. RepairTRAX maintains a record of all text and or emails sent to a customer, whether they're automatic or manual. In addition, you can also record that you contacted a customer by phone. Let's begin by clicking on this icon. A pop-up window appears allowing you to either enter a new message and or look at the history. Let's go down to the message type and take a look. The contents of this drop-down depend on the preferred contact method of the customer. Sean has all contact methods set, so I can either send a phone message, an email, or a text to Sean. If neither the text or email was present, I could still record a phone message. Let's go ahead and record a phone message to Sean at this time. Since I selected phone message, a little text box appears allowing me to enter in what I talked to Sean about. If I would have selected an email, it would have allowed me to enter in a subject and an email body. And if I selected text, I would have been able to enter in text content. But here I am on the phone, placing a call with Sean, and now it's time to record what I said. I know that Sean already had his glass repaired once on this particular service item, so I'm going to give him a call and ask him if he wants monster glass. Let's see how to do that. I would actually make the call and then just make a note that I placed the call within RepairTRAX. Okay, I made a note that Sean said yes, he wants monster glass. I'm going to save this now. Note that if I picked a text or email and click submit, the email and or text would be automatically sent through the RepairTRAX server right to the customer. Pretty cool. Okay, my phone note has been recorded, but now let's go back to the message center and take a quick look at the history. We do this by clicking the Show History link. RepairTRAX reminds you that this communication record is for this ticket only, with the most recent message listed first. Therefore, we see our phone message we just placed. Prior to the phone message, we see both an automated email and an automated text that was sent to Sean when the ticket first was generated. You need to see customer communications to see how to auto-generate these messages. Now I'm going to hide the history and close this box out. Even though I recorded the phone message in the message center, I'm going to go ahead and add a new note to this ticket. Notice that a note on a ticket is different than a customer note. For example, a customer note could be Sean's a great customer, which goes along with Sean throughout the lifetime of Sean, but on a ticket note, it's just for this particular ticket. Okay, there's my new note and a little handy-dandy edit icon if I wanted to edit it. Notice it records the date and time and who did it. Still focusing at the top of the ticket, if you wanted to edit any component of the customer information, you simply click on their name, indicated by the bold. Let's go ahead and take a look. Notice that on the preferred contact method we have phone, email, and text. Immediately below that is the required phone number. And a little further down you see the text phone number, which just so happens to be the same, along with the cell provider, which is required for text messaging, and also the email address, which is required for email notification. Now I'm going to scroll down a bit. In addition to information you can continue to edit on the form, you'll also notice that customer notes are contained at the bottom. I'm not going to do anything here, but get out. Now let's take a look at how we can modify the service item. Just like with the customer information, we click on the bold service item name to go to the editor. This section is very similar to the new ticket wizard, where you have a variety of items that you can fill out and or modify to describe the particular item that's being repaired, or the service item. At the top, you'll notice Sean has 2 pieces of equipment. We can expand Sean's equipment list with just one click to take a look. Notice that the service item in question is highlighted. You can also instantly select a given service item if you accidentally entered in the wrong service item. But there's a complete video regarding this particular aspect of RepairTRAX, and so refer to the corresponding video. I'm going to leave this service item as is, so I'm just going to collapse this view. And I'm not going to make any more edits, so I'm just going to get out. Just as with the customer information and service item, you can also modify certain components of the ticket information, again by clicking on the bold ticket number. Here we go. Let's go ahead and make a edit on the job type since it's currently unassigned. And for demonstrational purposes, let's set a referral source. Again, the list of sources is completely manageable by you. For demo purposes, let's say we want to push out the estimated completion date. Currently it's set for 3/15. Let's push it out 10 days. Let's see how we can do that. Okay, the estimate is pushed out. Since I pushed it out, I'll include a work log note indicating why. And then submit to save. I'm going to scroll down just a bit. Under the work log section, you can see my new note. I'm going to go ahead and append something to this note. I forgot to mention the monster glass, so let's do that. By the way, there's a whole bunch of videos and stuff on work logs. You can click the help icon at any time to find out more about it. To edit an existing work log note, all I do is click on the entry. I will append my changes and submit to save. Okay, there's my monster glass change. Now let's go ahead and append an image to this ticket. We'll take a existing image of Sean's iPod. By the way, not only can you attach images, a total of 4, but you can also attach an unlimited number of documents like a PDF or a Word document using the buttons below. Okay, let's attach that image. At the top you can see you can attach up to 4 images, but let me scroll down just a bit. RepairTRAX also lets you capture images live via a webcam. It's an incredibly cool thing where you point the webcam at a given image and you can capture up to 4 images live and upload them instantaneously. It doesn't show up in a demo, so I'm just going to have to browse for an existing image. Sorry about that. So now I'm going to scroll back up again. Okay, this demo assumes that the image exists and I know where it is, so I'm just going to go ahead and browse for it and select it. There it is. Okay, I could have browsed for more images and submitted, or I can just submit here and the image will go up. Alright, the image is attached, but it's always displayed down at the bottom, so let me scroll down. There it is, automatically sized. If there was 4, you'd see 4 going across, but since there's only 1, it's centered in the middle. You can delete it, as you can see with the delete link below the image, or if you click on the image, you can zoom in. Ta-da! How slick! For demo purposes, now let's see how we could take a deposit on this ticket. I do this by clicking the deposit/partial payment button, and then filling out some information. Notice that I have my store set up to require a reference number. This is optional and can be managed in the admin area, but I better fill in that reference number. As for the payment method, there's plenty of payment methods, so let's take a look at those. But I'm going to keep this one as a cash deposit. Submit to save. I gotta scroll down so you can see the deposit. Hold on. Okay, there it is. It's a cash deposit with the reference number and the date. And Sean really didn't give us this money, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the deposit now. I do this by first clicking on the deposit itself. Notice that on an existing deposit there's a red reminder down below that says to delete this deposit, set the deposit amount to 0. So let's just do that. Okay, that should have done it. Let's go see. I gotta scroll down. Sure enough, the deposit is gone. Now, finally, let's start working on this ticket. When working on a new ticket, you usually manage the work log first, then add parts and labor, and then finish with the work log. The work log is very important with respect to the state of the ticket. There are two work log key components. One is reason for service, which you see here. That's what happens when a new ticket is created. The reason for service, or why is this item here to be repaired, is entered in via the new ticket wizard. The other critical work log entry is closed, ready for payment. That takes the ticket from a working status to a I'm done with this service item status. And we'll see how that's done. When in doubt, click the help icon. Okay, so here I am, the technician, and I'm ready to start work. So the first thing I'm going to do is adjust the work log to set a new status. Please note that RepairTRAX allows you to define every type of work performed on your ticket. I think there's like 36 different work log entries that you can customize completely. You can set what color the ticket goes to based upon that particular work log entry. You can include database keywords within the work log, details that automatically stuff in items. It's a way complicated thing, and there's a special video for it, so check out the work log video to get more information. Note that when making an edit to the work log, it allows you to define who you are. It defaults to whoever is logged in, but if somebody else was logged in and you were just jumping in on the ticket, you could jump to your name and say, oh, I added this to the work log. That's what this is for. Okay, and to make a modification to the work log, I first select the type of work performed. I'm just going to set it to work in progress. Here's how I would do it. Yes, I know I'm repeating myself, but the two key entries, reason for service, or why it's here, and closed ready for payment, are the key work log entries for comes in and goes out. Okay, now I'm going to set it to work in progress. I set my work log up such that it says working on the service item. Now, notice that the service item was replaced with iPod. I used database keywords to get that done. So that's really cool. You can select certain work log entries and auto-generate text that makes sense to people. In addition, you can also automatically send an email and or text on any work log action, so that if it says work in progress and you wanted to text your customer saying, I'm working on it now, you can do so. Okay, I'm done with my edit, so now I'm just going to submit to save. And then I'm going to scroll down a bit so I can see the work log. Okay, there's my new work log entry, including the date, time, and by whom. And I know I need to replace it with some monster glass here to fix this service item, so I'm going to add some parts. Every time you add a part, you first search for it. So I know it has something to do with glass, so I'm going to enter in glass. And then submit to search. Okay, RepairTRAX only found one entry. Depending upon your search, it might be a multiple list of items. Here it's just one, and I'm not going to go through the parts display. That's in a separate video. I'm just going to go ahead and add this item to the ticket by clicking on Add Item. This screen shows how to add the part to the ticket. There are a lot of things you can edit. For example, let's pretend that I'm jumping in on this ticket. I'm really not Dave Heiliger, I'm somebody else. So the first thing I do is change the staff member. When RepairTRAX finds an existing part, it pre-fills the form with a variety of information, such as the part description and the unique part ID, etc. It defaults to a quantity of 1. Let's say you needed to add 5 of an item to a repair item. Here's where you would change that 1 to a 5. The database only found a new part for this particular part. You can also, some people install used parts like a rebuilt engine or whatever, and it would have a used cost as well. And you would have to choose between new or used, but there was only a new part, and so, which is obvious for iPod glass, so only the new cost is shown along with the text. This is all generated in the admin center, but I want to point out the associated labor cost. My shop, we automatically have determined that it's a $30 labor fee to replace the glass, so we already put that in, and it's just part of the whole entire part package. Now, depending on how you set up your store, you can also make modifications to an existing part and at the same time update your parts database. You can do this by enabling the update part database information as highlighted here, so let's take a look at that. Note that if you make a modification to the upper part, but don't enable the part database information, then the updated information is only for that specific ticket. So for example, if it's a really good customer and you want to charge them a little bit less, you can modify the price and or the labor. It will affect the ticket, but it won't affect your parts database. Okay, so let's look at that parts update section. I'm going to scroll down just a bit. RepairTRAX displays additional information that not necessarily needs to be on the ticket, such as the location/bin where the part is, the wholesale cost new, how many parts I have in stock, and the low stock trigger. Let's go ahead and make some changes here to this part. Okay, so I updated the location where the part exists in my shop. I noticed that I had 10 in stock, and I set a low stock trigger of 3. What that means is that as parts are used within the ticket, they get decremented, and I will know when I only have 3 iPod glass items left in my bin and get a automatic notification. Plus it will show up in my low inventory when I go to the main menu. When I submit this part, not only is the part going to be added to the ticket, but my parts database is going to be updated with this new information. Pretty cool. Okay, now I'm going to scroll down to the parts area. Okay, here's the part I just added. It's iPod glass. Notice that the initials TJ are there as to indicate who added it. A quantity of 1 with the price. It's taxable. There's an associated labor cost. It's not taxable. The tax is already calculated based upon this part, and the total has been generated. If at any time I needed to edit this part, all I would do is click on the part itself to get back to the parts editor. Notice now that there is a delete button as well, which wasn't present before because this part wasn't on the ticket. So if I made a mistake and really didn't want to add a iPod glass, I would delete this part. Obviously that's not what I want to do, so I'm just going to cancel. Alright, all my work is complete. So my key step now is to go to the work log and set closed, ready for payment. This will trigger the ticket as a active working ticket into a ticket that's ready for pickup. Let's see how that's done. We've seen this before. I'm just going to select closed, ready for payment. RepairTRAX automatically fills in what I had pre-programmed it to fill in, and I have my store set up such that when it's a ticket closed and ready for payment, when I click submit, it will automatically send Sean a text and or an email depending upon their contact preferences to let them know that the work is done without ever picking up the phone. What a time saver. I need to scroll down a bit. Okay, there's my closed, ready for payment work log entry. What this means is the ticket is no longer active. It is now in the pickup area, so let's see what that looks like. I want to go to the ticket list, so I need to scroll up first. And then click the ticket list icon. And like I told you, the ticket is now gone from the open ticket area. The ticket has been placed in the pickup area, so let's take a look at that. Okay, here's Sean's ticket. Notice that he has already been notified with a timestamp. This is because he was set up for automated text and automated email. Looking at these 2 other customers, notice that the notification status is please notify. That means the ticket has been complete, but nobody's told the customer, hey, your ticket's done. Obviously they weren't set up for text or email, and you have to do that manually. You can do that by calling them and telling them, hey, your ticket's ready, and then with the drop down you can set as notified within the drop down to indicate that you did place the call. You could also use the icon, the text icon, and record a phone call, at which time it would set the notification. Let's take a look at Sean's contact history to see the automated text and email. I need to click the show history link, so let's do that. As expected, there was both an automated email and an automated text sent. Notice that I used keywords in my messaging such that it picked up the service item, the iPod, so it says your iPod is ready for pickup, both in the email and the text. How sweet. Now let's pretend that Sean calls in with a prepayment. Either we have our his Visa on file or he gives it to us over the phone. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to go ahead and take a payment before Sean gets here. So let's see how that works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select final payment from the drop down. Notice that final payment shows up only when the ticket is closed. Same for set as picked up, and also same for set as notified. These are special only for tickets in pickup. When RepairTRAX takes final payment, it automatically shows the amount due. All I need to do is fill in a few things. Since Sean called in with a prepayment, he hasn't really picked up the item yet, so I'm going to set it as picked up pending. And since we used his Visa card on file, I'll mark it as a Visa payment. Notice the PayPal icon. This is automatically displayed if you have a PayPal email established, and if you do, when you click this button, it will automatically jump to PayPal, where you can take Visa cards, MasterCard, Discover card, etc. Automatically through PayPal while you're processing the payment. Okay, to accept this payment, I just need to click Submit. At this time, if I wanted to, I could click the link to print the ticket. But Sean is not here right now, so I'm going to hold off. When Sean does arrive, I can use the print icon to print out his ticket. RepairTRAX allows you to have a top graphic, a bottom graphic, and a bottom HTML file, all optional. What you're looking at now is the top graphic. You can download a blank template for each theme and customize your header such that your tickets look real professional. Pretty neat. Also note that the notes and prior work history show up on this printout. These are actually optionals, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but in the meantime, I'm just going to scroll down a bit. Highlighted here is the bottom graphic, and then following that is my bottom HTML file. This is a custom file, and I used the keyword of signature. That produces a signature box such that if I have a touch tablet, I can hand the tablet over to Sean. He can sign his name live before the printout. That is really cool. And here is a simulation of what that might look like. When Sean clicks the touch here to accept button, the signature is digitally saved within the database for future reference. So when you pull the ticket back up, that signature will show up. That is really cool. I now want to jump back to the ticket and show you how you can turn on and off certain components of the ticket during a printout. Highlighted here are little print icons. Notice that they're all green, which means this item will print. These items include notes, prior work history, work log, and the parts and labor, the items that added to the ticket. You can turn on or off any of these. You can also preset which ones you want on or off within the admin area. So for example, if you don't want notes to show up, and you don't want prior work history to show up, but you want it to show up within the ticket view for your text, you can set it such that the icons for notes and the icon for the prior work history are red, meaning off. They won't be printed. They can always come back and click one of them on to print it, but they'll default to off. Let's say you don't want the notes to be printed. All you need to do is toggle the notes icon. And for example, if you don't want prior work history, you can turn that off too. Now on the printout, the notes and prior work history will not be displayed. I'm going to jump back to the pickup list. First I got to scroll up. Okay, finally, since Sean has picked up the item, I'm going to change the item status from paid, picked up pending to picked up. Once I do that, the ticket basically disappears from the pickup area from everything. The only way that you can find this ticket again is through customer history or a search for a ticket. As you can see, there's set as picked up, and once I do this, the ticket will disappear. That's a wrap for this demo. You have a great day.